Welcome to Le Foot, your podcast about French football, where Lens won the Trophée des Champions against PSG, and the season start is finally here. We give you our flops of the year, talents to watch, coaches that will be sacked first, as well as a fresh season start of Le Foot Pronos, and much more as always. On y va.
Hello, welcome. How are you guys doing? We're back with another episode now.
We're back, feeling great and filled in our stomachs because just now we went down to the local burger shop.
No McDonald's.
No, not McDonald's.
Better than that.
Daisies, you know, these old school American burger joint. I don't know in other countries, but in Sweden I feel like smashed burgers the last 5 years are, if not, like that's the most common burgers these days.
Yeah.
But today we got like thick burgers.
Old school pucks, we call them.
Yes.
It's like a hockey puck. And but to that point, Dennis, how did it feel to finally be treated with your trophy of last year's Le Foot Pronos burger? What did you take?
Amazing. I took, they call it Texas Massacre. And it's gonna be a massacre in my stomach.
And some other context to this burger place. I rarely do this, but I was looking at the dip sauce that Dennis bought. And it was, not retired, but
Expired.
outdated. Expired, exactly, thank you. So, yeah.
Dennis has a journey home after this from the basement. But for anyone who follows us on social media, you're gonna see some pictures of Dennis, both Dennis in the diner and with the burger, because well deserved after the ending last year where you took everything in one round, the final round.
Yeah, it was quite amazing. I was shocked myself that I got it for the Paris FC win against PSG. I think it was their last game as well, yeah.
It was the last game.
Yeah. So, very nice.
We got to enjoy some as well, not on anyone's else's wallet like you, Dennis. But let's see. We haven't come up with a trophy for this year yet.
Wasn't that the trophy, the burger?
Yeah, but I mean, for the next season now, starting this week, we need to come up with a decent trophy. I think that's homework until next week's episode. Yeah. Because are we gonna do the burger win again?
Gift card at Daisy's? 500 crowns?
You can only buy dip sauces. Maybe. No, but we have to come up with a decent trophy, same caliber or more as Dennis' burger trophy.
If you feel for it, you can give some suggestions in the comment sections wherever you listen to this episode.
Let us know, how do you celebrate and what should you get when you win Le Foot Pronos? And that's actually, I mean, now we're gonna start off talking about Trophée des Champions and Lens and PSG. But I must say, I'm heading into this episode super excited because I have waited for the new season to start. I'm full of revenge. I want to win. I want to win, and we do it from the start of the season now as well. I think we started not, it wasn't that many matches left. No. I think now it's more of a marathon that you need to get into the groove early to not, slip behind. I'm super excited. But then another shock. I mean, your burger and your sauce, that was a shock. But Lens, the cup champions, they are now champions again in Trophée des Champions, and 1-0.
Yeah, what a start for the top miller here.
Dino.
Yes, for sure. New coach for Lens this year. And what a start. I mean, they have really rotated in the manager section there, and performed well while doing so. So I think the expectations on top miller here is quite high. So, I mean, winning this game against last year's biggest rivals is definitely a boost ahead of the season. But in terms of the game, I mean, 2 red cards, Dembélé starting on the bench, no Barcola, flat performance from Akliouche, the game being played in Lens, not neutral ground.
No,
a few aspects here.
Yeah, and if we stay there, I mean, we discussed it a bit before we started this recording, that it's strange whenever a coupe that is a neutral final match, in a sense, is played at one of the participating teams' home ground. I think in France, I mean, you have the option with Stade de France. Maybe it was occupied. Maybe it wouldn't have been full. I don't know. But there was a boycott from the PSG supporters ahead of this match. And I think they were mocked a bit by the Lens supporters with some banners and stuff. I mean, as it could and should be. But interesting. I saw also Hakimi complain a bit after the match that the match was played, I mean, at Lens home. And in a way I understand, but in a way I think that it's silly because it's the best club in the world. You should be able to go to any stadium, I mean, both in France but also in Europe, and put a performance and grab the result here.
And they played 10 against 11 for, I don't know, about
60 minutes or 50 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know when he got his red card, Mendes, but 40 minutes perhaps or something.
Yeah, 40. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, they had the chances or could have played better to be able to win this game. So,
but isn't it silly also that you start bringing these things up after the match? I can understand that you're protesting a bit before, but when you lose a match, leave the excuses somewhere else. I think there were several players. You mentioned Akliouche. Not his best match in his career. And he's going to need some time to get started, I think. But I think, again, you need to bring on Dembélé. I mean, it's not... Kvaratskhelia didn't have his best performance.
Must be precautions there. I mean, France went far in the World Cup, and it feels like a lot of the teams who have... I mean, all the great teams have a lot of players who went far in the World Cup, and it feels all those teams, you know, not only PSG, they are playing in them slowly. I mean, Rice didn't play in the Community Shield against City, for an example. So I think it's precautions, but I mean, losing the game... Perhaps they should have played him from the beginning.
Yeah, no, and I think looking also, in the defense, both Digne and Pacho, I mean, this match was a lot about the Lens defense, which, I mean, they put on a good performance. If you're not letting in any goals against PSG and this attacking quality, I think it's a really good performance. And there they are with the trophy, Thauvin. I mean, what a leader. I mean, captain now as well, and taking that run, scoring that goal, maybe not the most beautiful of goals, but it's important. And I mean, Lens, like you said, Dino Topmöller, he couldn't have wished for a better start to the season. And I think it also feels like they head into the new season with this win with such great energy. I think they're going to be a joy to watch even this year, Lens. I have the feeling. Of course, it's going to be tough playing both in the Champions League and Ligue, but...
and speaking of champions, just mentioning there also that Lyon beat Sparta Prague and are through now for Champions League. So there will be four teams from France
they have
the Champions League.
There's one round of playoff left.
There's one left?
There is one left.
Okay.
And they are playing Fenerbahce. Greenwood is coming back to France not too long after. And I think Fenerbahce have been struggling. If I read a bit... about it. They've been struggling a bit to get to the group stages of the Champions League in a while. And between them is Lyon. And then you have Greenwood coming back. Fenerbahce have now also signed Lukaku. And I mean, already they have Guendouzi there. There is a lot of familiar players from other European football leagues in Fenerbahce. It's going to be... I think it's probably... the most interesting qualifier match, also from a French perspective, of course. Can Lyon pull it through? But I'm not sure if Lyon are that big favorites in this one. Because if you look at the names on the pitch, Fenerbahce, I mean, Greenwood, bring him in, Lukaku.
But also, so early in the season, the draw for the Champions League is on the 27th. So that's in 10 days. They're going to play a league game each, and this game, you know, home and away early in the season. I think it'll be a lot about coincidence here.
It is, and Fenerbahce started off, I just did some research, they started off losing the first match of the season. The Turkish League just started, and now tomorrow they start off playing in Istanbul. And just to mention some names in this Fenerbahce team that Lyon has to overcome, I mean, they have Asensio, some of you might recognize from Real Madrid.
Old fella.
You have Guendouzi, of course, used to be in Arsenal when young and has been in Marseille as well. And then Nathan Ake in the defense, former City defender, as well as Milan Skriniar, the Inter into defenders. So I mean, there is definitely some recognizable names, and now Lukaku and Greenwood.
But all of these players have their, I mean, you know, they're seeing their best days. So this is just ordinary in the Turkish league.
Yeah. It's not like they're there in their prime, but I think when you think about the
experience of these games, they're definitely ahead, I would say.
Yeah, the experience, and also if you compare to Lyon, I would say experience-wise from world football, it's only Tolisso. I think that, I mean, you can say what you want about players like Moreira, Sulch, but it's not really that kind of, it's not that kind of name. Maybe, of course, they are at a younger point in their career, but it's going to be a tough one. And of course, we would like to see Lyon make it through, to have more French clubs in the final stage. And in a way, maybe Europa League is a good place for them if they don't make it through, competitive-wise. But it would be fun to see Lyon in the Champions League again. But time will tell. It's first leg tomorrow, and then next week before the draw, we're gonna have to see.
Now we're going to talk a bit about this year's talents.
Who to watch out for?
Yeah, who will explode this year?
Okay, I will just kick it off, and this one is a bit of a. I had to dig deep in my both brain and analysis to find this youngster, and he's not in a fantastic place in terms of clubs, but Djibril Koulibaly, 17-year-old defensive midfielder in Nice. Last year he only played 11 minutes in Ligue in total, which of course then you might argue that he's not going to play much. He's still very young, but he did 90 minutes in the crucial 4-1 victory against Saint-Étienne, where Nice secured the contract, and there was the Wahi show. And this summer in the training matches against Juventus and Hull, he has played 78 and 90 minutes and put on okay performances despite his age. So I think Djibril Koulibaly in Nice, if I were the Nice management team, this is a player that they can get tons of money for in the future, and they should start getting him into the 11, because, I mean, the other players that went ahead of him last year was not good enough anyway.
So 2 okay performances is now a promising talent.
Yeah, and I mean, training matches as well. No, but I would say...
A wild shot.
Yeah, it's a wild shot.
Card.
And I mean, one thing I think, just keep an eye out, and of course defensive midfielder is maybe not the most creative of players that you look for, maybe get excited about, or like wasn't it Roy Keane said that defenders don't burst onto the scene, but
from Michael Richards.
Michael Richards, yeah.
Who was the player?
It was Michael Richards who said he burst onto the scene.
Oh, yeah.
Roy Keane interrupts everything by saying that defensive players don't burst onto the scene. But I think keep an eye. They signed Axel Witsel now, or they seem to be signing Axel Witsel, the 37-year-old Belgian, you remember.
Another talent.
Who never became what we thought he would be, right? I mean, he feels like he's been a talent forever. But he's 37. So they're bringing in some experience. But I really hope that Nice will play Koulibaly, because 17 and already playing important matches. When you looked at the playoff against Saint-Étienne, he has something. He had So that's my call. I told you I dig deep. This was not an obvious one.
No.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Bring me. What do you have for us?
Depending on if he's gonna get any playing time, because it's in PSG. I'm actually gonna say Michael Götze is a recent signing, and I've seen him play a bit, and he looks really good. I think he can be a promising prospect, but depends on if he's getting any playing time. We discussed a bit before this that the competition in the offense in PSG is crazy. So.
But what if, I mean, for me, who's not very familiar with the Dutch league at the moment, I mean, sometimes you see Ajax or Feyenoord in the European competitions, but what kind of player are we seeing here?
Well, he's got a great right foot, and he does what I've seen Kvaratskhelia do a lot, just a few tap-ins and then go for a shot. And he's very fast and got good ball control as well. So I think it would be like an excellent, or well, to be fair, maybe a bit worse version of Kvaratskhelia in that sense, but
Younger, though.
Younger, of course. But yeah, I think if he gets his playing time, then we can see something blossom in him. Other than that, I mean, Boadi in Lille, of course, the youngling, already valued at like 90 million euros.
But I heard something that he is the replacement for Rodri now at Manchester City.
Oh,
he could be leaving any day.
Oh, damn!
And they need something to fill that hole. So I mean, yeah. But of course, Boadi.
Yeah.
If he would stay, we're gonna see more of him. That's. But
if he stays, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but then Jeff, you're gonna spice things up.
Yeah, so compared to my colleagues here, I'm actually going to take a player who's going to get some playing time. So. It's Khalid Mira in Lyon, attacking midfielder, 19 years old. You could say in terms of playing time, he got this breakthrough last season, playing about 30 games or so. And if he's following that path well, you know, also Andre going back to Lyon, it feels like they make a small changes here and there. I think also with some kind of European football, like he will get minute this year. And, you know, he had 1 goal, 2 assists last season. I think, you know, if he can, I don't know, maybe 4 times double that, you know, produce 5, 6 goals, 7, 8 assists, I think this season could be his breakthrough season and, you know, somewhat make a statement in Ligue and also out in Europe that he's a good player. But besides from that, I was, you know, also thinking about Boadi, but, you know, I think he's going to leave. And then also Risser, I think, you know, he had his real breakthrough last season, but I'm thinking he might be able to take that extra step this year and also contest to be the number 1 goalkeeper now in France, with Zidane going in, perhaps making a few changes. So, you know, he might also be able to take that extra step and go somewhere else perhaps after this season. So, you know, also keep an eye on Risser, because it felt like he slipped a little bit the last, 8 games or so, when the whole of Lens really felt that PSG was probably going to win it. So I'm also going to keep an eye on Risser and Lens as a team.
Very interesting.
Yes, and I think Mera is a good option because, as you said, it's a Lyon financial struggles. He's gonna get playing times, plenty of matches to be played. Really, really good. But I mean, this is positive things. We have to move over the flops. Who do you project flopping this year? And if we, keep it to players. Is there anyone, if you look into the, how do you say, the glass cube of the future, who is going to be the disappointment?
I can just say a signing that I don't really understand, which is Ferran Torres to PSG. I don't see how he will fit the team, really. I think Luis Enrique knows something maybe that we
don't see. But that's the thing. I think here we can all. I think we all three. I'm not going to speak for you, Jeff, firstly, but I think we can all agree here that this is a signing. When you look at the price tag, 50 million plus euros from Barcelona, who obviously don't see him as an important starting player. Otherwise, they wouldn't let him go. You have Doué, you have Kvaratskhelia, you have Dembélé. He has no chance in this world, for me, making a run for a starting position in that front three. No. Then you have Gusnau and Akliush. 2 young promising players, which I think should be getting playing time. Yeah. Of course, they already shipped Ramos, Kang-in Lee. It seems like Barcola is leaving and probably Mbaye. But how on earth, why they would need Ferran Torres up there? To me, it's a mystery. So
I think you know, he could compete with Doué. Dembélé and Kvaratskhelia, like no way, but like he could compete with Doué. But then also, I mean, he and Enrique has history. So Enrique must know something here and must have a plan for how he can bring the best out of Torres and how he can, impact PSG in a way to make them better or be able to play with a different variety of football in terms of who they're playing or whatnot, because he's the best coach the last couple of years. It's the best team, so
it's hard to go
unless
against.
they're hangover from Budapest still. He must have some sort of plan here, and not buying Torres simply to have him as a backup for that front three.
But here I disagree that I first and foremost I think that he does not stand a chance with the creativity and the dribble of Doué. But I think that it's hard to argue with Luis Enrique. That you have a point there. I don't have a football brain worth anything compared to Luis Enrique, the best manager currently in the world. But there is something just strange. And I think also, if you look at it, how I see it is that Doué is untouchable as well as Dembélé and Kvaratskhelia in the big games in the Champions League. Ferran Torres is going to be the striker starting a lot in Ligue 1. And then I start to question a bit that Ferran Torres, how he sees himself, is a backup player that's going to play a lot in Ligue 1. Like we've seen Gonzalo Ramos, when they putting some air and some bench time, then you start seeing Lee Kang-in, you start seeing Gonzalo Ramos in the PSG 11. And I think Ferran Torres must be, in my world, and I might be wrong, that kind of backup. He's going to play 30 matches, I think so, in one season, because there's plenty. But the important Champions League clutch matches, like you had last season versus Bayern Munich, Liverpool, I have a hard time seeing Ferran Torres playing.
But you have to keep in mind as well also that in the middle of the season last year, there was still a race in between Barcola and Doué who was playing. But Doué took that extra step, and Doué was, one of the best players for PSG the last 15 games. Also in the Champions League, he had a good run with France as well when he came in. So I think, that's when Doué exploded, and that's also a reason why Barcola might be leaving. Ferran Torres, his last year's season was not that good for Barcelona. But before that, he played really well. So I think, also it's going to be how Torres gets into this team. And I think he can compete to Doué, even though last 12 months I'm putting Doué a lot higher, or not a lot, but I'm putting him before Torres. But I'm just saying that I think there's more to him, and I think he can compete to Doué, but it's up to him to, step up again, and to Doué to, continuously play, because Doué is still very young. Yeah. We've seen, Palmer had a great season. He had one of the best seasons compared to a lot of midfielders. I mean, hard to compare player to player, but since then he has not performed. So I'm not saying Doué will be bad this season, but it's hard to play on that level week in, week out. So he's got to show that as well.
It could be, but then you're the edgiest voice here, because you're saying it's the flop. He's going to be the flop, and that is interesting because. Yeah, we can talk later episodes as well when we've seen him play a bit. Like, what is a flop season for a player in PSG? They're gonna score the goals, they're gonna win matches, most likely win Ligue, but you can still be a flop given the price tag and the room he's taken. Because I'm thinking about the homegrown talents that they could get some playing time in Liga instead. I mean, Janto being one, now Mbaye seems to be leaving as well to Liverpool, But anyway, but if we talk about the flops here, you're certain.
Yeah, well, I think as you also pointed out, given the price tag and relative to all those things, I think it's going to be a flop. He's of course going to score some goals and contribute to the team. But
and did you see Gonzalo Ramos scored immediately in Milan? Be friendly.
Oh, did he?
Yes. So maybe we're going to have to eat up those words that price tag was heavily salted.
Oh, yeah.
But Jeff, bring us the flop.
Akliouche, another PSG player.
PSG signings getting butchered here.
But here also, he's definitely going to get his minutes and he's probably going to score a few goals. But I think the expectations on him and also, Ferran Torres and almost every, somewhat of a name attacking player that comes to PSG, they will have expectations. And I think when you summarize the season, unless Akliouche has done like up to 15-20 goals and 10-15 assists, it will just be, one of those. And he's not going to reach that. And from what I've seen against Aston Villa and now Lens, doesn't really feel that he's contributed that much. So I think Akliouche, but also here just want to point out and say that I wasn't really sure who to take here. And it's easier to take a player from one of the bigger clubs, to really see the impact there.
Feels a bit harsh also taking a flop from a small club when they spend 10 million Swedish krona on a signing and say if it doesn't deliver, it's bad. Because I agree. It's relative to the price tag.
Yeah.
But did you have any backup names? Any bubblers?
I was just thinking about Tuvan, but not as a flop, but more like perhaps to turn down the expectations a little bit, comparing or having in mind the season he had last year. But it feels like I have to eat up those words immediately since he scored against PSG already. But apart from that,
captain as well. I mean, he's growing into a cult figure in that club in Lens.
What about yourself? Another PSG player or?
No, I'm actually looking elsewhere, and this one is maybe not the spiciest one, given that it's a player we had last season in that club, but his move was made permanent now, and it's Ansu Fati in Monaco. I doubt that it's gonna really work out in Monaco, and they've signed him on a permanent now. I think 11 million euros, something like that. So not super expensive, but I think given the talent status he had, we talked a lot about it previously. I mean, the expectations will be high, and I think almost everything short of 15 goals or something is a bit of a. At least he needs to score 10 for me to feel that it's worth keep believing in this one. And I have a hard time seeing it. I think there is other players that is, and if Balogun stays, he's still the main option up there, and of course not really the same kind of player, but. I think Ansu Fati. I had one that I wanted to argue it's a bit of a one-season wonder, and that's the Sulch. But we talked about not going too low here. I think he might come back and be a bit important.
So you would still call him a one-season wonder, then?
I mean, if he doesn't deliver this autumn, Sulch, I'm going to start calling him a one-season wonder. Because somehow, I mean, he did fantastic things for Lyon, but I think he's not the kind of player that will be on this quality level consistently. And it's just my gut feeling. He did some fantastic goals, but I think there was times as well. He was, of course, injured back and forth, and that's what I'm thinking, if the injuries are setting him back as well. But Ansu Fati is my mainstay here.
Next topic is, which coach do we believe will get sacked first? And I can start there. I do have a few names here, but the one I actually think will be sacked first is Philippe Luis, defender that a lot of you people might remember from Atletico Madrid mainly, but also had a short spell in Chelsea. And now coming into Monaco, historical or previous manager experience is 2 years or so from Flamengo.
But won everything. He won everything. Short but flamboyant. It's short but successful.
Yeah, and he had played in Spain and England, among other countries, professionally as a football player, not as a coach. But he doesn't have any experience from Ligue. So this is his first club, back to Europe, trying to make a name on himself as a coach. And I mean, that itself is interesting, and it's, I guess, shows some sort of courage, but it feels also that Monaco has been turbulence in that club, like most clubs in Liga, and coaches going in and out, as well as players. Pogba being there, there's just a lot of things going on, and I think the expectations from the management and the fans will be high. So unless Philippe Luis gets this team on the right track initially, I think it might start to boil and starts to boil over quite quickly. And that's the case I'm making to why I think Philippe Luis will be the manager who will be sacked first.
Yeah, and to back that, I mean, we saw some carousel when Pochettino came in last season, the Belgian manager who is now, I mean, he had to leave. There was a lot of ups and downs. I mean, they had a fantastic period. Remember when they couldn't stop winning, and then they had a big drop in performances as well during periods. So I think it's an interesting one. I'm looking a bit further down the table to find my first one to be sacked, and maybe this one is not. Not super nice because he has quite a challenge ahead of him, but I think that Alexandre Dujou in Lorient is going to have a real hard time. He did a decent job with Angers last year and previous seasons as well. But he's coming into a Lorient which has lost the two best players, Bamba Dieng, who seems to be going to Hull on a free transfer, and then Pagis, who has moved to Paris FC, which we have talked about. And I mean, these produce 10 plus goals each and plenty assists as well from Pagis. And to come into Lorient, which I think were overachievers last year, and now to come in, kind of have an expectation that he can keep them in the middle all through. And I think it's going to be tricky given that the main attraction is gone when it comes to the squad. And yeah, there is of course other candidates, and I didn't want to look straight at Troyes and Le Mans, who I think will have a hard time from the beginning. So I will go with Alexandre Dujou. Dennis.
Oh, I mean, there are several interesting coaches here that might get sacked, actually, and I don't want to go with this guy. Because I think he's got an interesting career in front of him, but I'm going to say the youngling will still, unfortunately.
The young Englishman.
Yeah, he's taking over Auxerre. He's done a decent season with Lens in 24-25, but I mean, going to Auxerre, and they had a rough season last year. Sina Yoko is gone. I don't know.
A bit similar to the Lorient argument.
Yeah,
that the best player out, new manager in.
Yeah, and quite. I mean, sure, he has some experience, but so young to be a manager.
Football manager experience or actual experience?
Playing experience, you mean?
No, I meant like football fantasy. Isn't that what he had?
No, I think if I've understood it right, he started working from the analytics part and then managerial part from a very young age.
Yeah.
And not played himself on this level at all. So
it's basically all he's been doing.
Is it like a football nerd?
Yeah.
But you know what is giving me a bit Nagelsmann vibes, you know, in Germany, like a youngster who comes up, you know, a lot of into analytics and tactics. And But let's see, I had him a bit on the suggestion list as well. I just want to mention another one, which might not be sacked early, but I am very doubtful about Davide Ancelotti in Lille. I mean, they had a very experienced manager, Genesio, who is now in OM, and to bring in Ancelotti's son, Davide Ancelotti, who, if I've understood it right, he's always kind of gone next to his dad, and then to be appointed as the head manager for a big club like Lille, heading into Champions League, I'm not sure if that's the right way to go. I think Will still has more experience than Davide Ancelotti, and the club and assignment is way bigger for Ancelotti than Will still. So I'm not saying he's going to get sacked first, because I think they will keep a stable performance, Lille, but I'm a bit doubtful on that one. In a way, it's almost like we need to ask ourselves, is it going to be over or under 7 managers sacked during the season? I think over.
I think the chances are high to, there's going to be a lot of sacking initially.
And then we haven't even mentioned Rosinho, but who knows? Maybe he's going to get it right.
Yeah, he's had a rough preseason there, but or not rough. There's some draws and 1 win and I think 2 losses. With, to be fair, a good German team there, but I don't know. I'm a bit iffy on Rosenior as well.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
We keep looking forward to this season, and now we're going to bring you our top 5 predictions. Who's going to end on place 1 to 5, and then also who is going to have to leave Ligue 1 at the end of season 26-27. And I'll kick it off. I'll quickly just run through my top 5. And I say that PSG will win. Shocker. No, but I think they are just too good of a football club at the moment. Lens really tried, and it's not going to be any discussion. Second place, I think Rennes. And the reason for this is that they've gotten tons of money in for selling Jacquet to Liverpool. This has meant they've managed to keep a lot of players. Le Paul, I mean, you have the top goal scorer. You have other players as well. So I think Rennes is going to be... They're going to keep moving on the Frank Hez. Third place, one drop from last season, is Lens. I think it will be a bit tricky now that they play in the Champions League to maintain the same kind of points in Liga, but still, third place is a good place. Fourth place, I would say Monaco, and this relies heavily if Balogun is still there. If he can get into the groove of scoring like he did, I think it might be good. And I've also put a little asterisk there for Filipe Luis as a manager. I know a bit too little. What if there is some language barrier, some issue? I have no idea how that's going to play out. And fifth place, I'm going to say Lyon. I think they're going to miss Champions League football, but I think definitely they are going to end up higher than OM and Strasbourg and other challengers there.
Yeah,
Bring it, Dennis.
I think that's a solid 5. Good arguments.
Yeah. I'm going to take this in order as well. I've just written them down. But yes, I'm also having PSG. They're taking it home.
Whoa.
And I think there's no shocker there, really. I think I've written down PSG, Lens, also Monaco and Rennes. And Lyon, I don't really know, but I've written down Lyon as well. I think if he can do a good job with Paris FC, I think they could come there. It's
For fifth place for Paris FC.
Place.
Could be. Okay.
Could be.
Okay.
I
gave it a thought and then I felt, nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, maybe not. Lyon is still strong. But I'll say PSG, they're taking the first spot. I think we're going to see Lens at the second spot. I think we're going to see Monaco at third, Rennes fourth, Lyon or Paris FC at fifth.
Similar takes there.
Yeah,
good,
similar.
Good. Jeff, do you have anything to spice it up? What's your top 5?
Not really, but what I'm thinking here also is that no one of us is placing OM top 5, but I think that's because of what we went through in last year's episode. Yeah, and I don't have them there either. But I just think it's quite interesting that, giving the history and everything that OM comes with, that none of us are putting them top 5. Because they usually are up there,
Definitely,
it's one of the best
they
teams
should
in
be
the
up
league.
there. They should be up there.
Nevertheless, starting from the top, PSG, Lille, Lens, Lyon, Rennes. I think that'll be the top 5. So the only change with that top 5 from last year is that Rennes go up one place and take OMs. So I believe that the top 5 will be similar to last year.
But I'm curious with Lille there, because you're putting them there. I had a hard time figuring Lille out here, but you think they're going to manage to put on a decent performance?
This might be a long shot, but I feel like Lille knows their limits when it comes to Europe more than what I like to think that, it feels like Lens is really want to go for it, in the Champions League. It feels like Lille is going to know their limits more. And I think they have a stronger team compared to Lyon. And
they have a foundation as well.
Yeah.
I mean, stable foundation.
And then Rennes, I think they're good, but it feels like it's a lot up to Le Paul. and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to match his goal tally from last year. But they might, surprise me, and they could definitely go for that top 3 as well. But I think it's up to a lot up to Le Paul there, which make me a bit uncertain. But then again, I think between those 4 teams, it will be tight, and the transfer window is still open. So, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's an interesting because I think Lille as well is one that gives me a bit of a headache. I keep them right below this top 5, and OM right below that, and that is a disaster for OM just to stay there. But we have to, get on with things when it comes to the table predictions, and we need to speak about who is getting relegated. I can be first. I'm going to be very boring, but I had a long and deep think about this, and I think both Troyes and Le Mans are heading right back out. I base this on the transfer market activity. I may base it on how they performed in Ligue 2 last season. I don't think they have the quality over 34 matches to compete with the rest at the moment. One club that I think might be in the mix, unfortunately, is Auxerre. And this is partly because of Will Still, but also partly because the big reason they are still in Liga is Sinayoko. And he's in Paris.
Yeah.
But I would say Le Mans and Troyes for facts. And then I'm being very nice to Nice, who has some business to do to be safe. What about you guys?
I also have Le Mans down there. I think it's going to be a short run, yeah. And I have Nice. They almost went out last season. And Auxerre struggled as well. So I think we're going to have a reprise. I think we're going to see them down there again.
You're giving Troyes some props here.
I haven't actually written down the 4th or the 5th one. I think Troy is also going to have a hard time. Yeah, if I look at like the teams that are still up there, Toulouse, Lorient, they're of course a lot better than Troy, and Brest as well.
It feels like there is a gap up.
There is a gap
to the middle.
Yeah, and Angers as well. I think all of those teams they are on another level than Troy, I would say. So I guess I have to pick Troy as well down there.
But that's 5 teams getting relegated.
Sorry. No, okay, if I have to pick 2 teams to get relegated, now I just took the bottom 5. Or bottom 4 actually. I also have written down OM because I don't know. I don't know.
Now, Dennis has been had some strange stuff in his burger.
Yeah. It's already given its affect here. But all right, I said it out loud. But yeah, maybe we'll see Le Mans and Troy going down, both of them. But yeah, we'll see.
What about you, Jeff?
No, so I'm gonna take Auxerre going down, and as you were argumenting just before, saying that Will Still as a coach and Sinayoko leaving, and they somewhat miraculously made it last year by winning the last 3 games, mainly because of Sinayoko. So I think Auxerre, they run out of luck, they're going out. And then it was really a 50-50 between Le Mans and Troy. So I'm just going to say Troy. So Troy. Troy and Auxerre.
No argument needed there. Yeah, they're gonna be struggling.
And they did lose Deturbie as well.
Yeah, he played a significant part in Ligue last year, and now via Man City to Monaco.
Yeah,
and a player that is 19-year-old goes for 15 million euro. Played 33 matches. They haven't signed anyone that can back that up.
No.
And I think even with him in the squad, it will be hard.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All right, Le Foot Pronos.
It's back.
It's back, and the rules are simple. all of us chooses 1 or 2 games if you want, and if you feel that you have the boldness to do such. So you pick 1 game and you play on the team to win, draw, or lose. And if the outcome is right, you get a point. If it's wrong, you get a minus point. And we follow that as a table throughout the entire season. And the winner last year got a burger, as Dennis got, but we'll see the prize for this year. And I'll head off with Lance winning at home against Auxerre, 1.6 times the money, so that equals 1 point if they win.
Good one. I think that's a good one. High odds, given everything we talked about Auxerre and their situation. But I'll take it from there. So I go to the Riviera and I go OGC Nice, and that they will beat Lorient at home at Allianz Riviera. And mainly because I think Olivier Pantaloni, the new manager, is going to have a positive direct impact. They haven't been fantastic. Maybe why he's coming, let's see. But I think this will be a managerial victory for him. And Lorient will miss their Pagis and Bamba. Dennis. So I do that for 2 points.
That's a good one. I like that. I'm having Paris' new team there. Paris FC against Troyes. I think Paris FC is going to bring it home at 2.6 in odds. 2 points. 2 points.
Looking for a 2-point start there.
Yeah.
Great, but it feels great that we're off to a start and heading into the week and then eventually the weekend with a lot of good energy. That is it for this week. Follow us on social, subscribe and give us a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember to tell a football-loving friend. For queries, you're always welcome to reach out at lefootpodcast@gmail.com. Have a great week and see you next Monday. Au revoir.